Hey everybody, welcome to I Brought You Into This World. I'm Amanda Hurley. Thank you for tuning in. I have with me today Erin Ronder Neves of Beyond Birthing. I got that right.
You got it. Perfect.
And Dr. Courtney Neill, Foundation Family Chiropractor.
Correct.
All right.
That's right.
We're starting off pretty good. I'm so excited to have them. These are people who really represent everything I care about when it comes to this podcast, and they represent progress in Beverly and beyond. Did you see what I did there? Beyond birthing. So, both of you, where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, so I am originally from Philadelphia, but I moved to Boston when I was in high school, or the Boston area when I was in high school. And I actually went to college for theater and special education. And then I also did grad school for theater and special education.
Yes.
And then now I've made my way into the birth world.
I'm
after
a
the
theater
birth of my
nerd
kids.
too, so we'll have to chat more.
Oh, we can.
That is awesome. And so your connection to children, your connection to motherhood.
Yes, so I am the proud mother of two girls. I have Evelyn, who is 12, and Rosalie, who is 9. And
Great
I share
names.
Thank you. And then I share those with my wonderful husband, Adam.
Got it. Awesome. And so how did you arrive there? Did you always want kids? Like, how did you feel about that? And did it ever change for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, like, I knew I always wanted kids. So, Adam and I actually met when we were 14. So, we've always been friends, and we always were very much aligned in how we wanted a family.
Yeah.
And so we knew we definitely wanted kids. And so after Evelyn, I think we always said I always said I wanted 4 because I just really love that, because I have just one sister, and it's a little bit more of a complicated relationship between us, and it would be so nice to have some extra siblings to help kind of be as more of a unit and just to have some more support. So I was like, I really want to provide that for my kids. And so I had Evelyn, and then we were excited to keep on trying, but then we had a loss in between Evelyn and Rosalie, and it shook our worlds more than we were expecting. And so then after we had Rosalie, we decided, I think that we're good to go. And we looked into adoption, but that wasn't a good fit for our family. And also pregnancy was just not something that my body enjoyed. And also my mental health didn't enjoy it at all. And my marriage struggled through it as well. And so I think that after having 2 healthy kids, which we were very fortunate to have, we said, listen, let's be okay with this. Let's honor this, and let's enjoy the journey with these 2. And so Adam and I took a lot of pride in being very present and very involved in our kids' lives. Yeah. And I was really nervous that if we had more than Rosalie, like just my 2 girls, I'm not sure how much would have been left of me.
Yeah. So you've made peace with it, but also you're seeing the positive and how
100%.
It works for your life, and that is really powerful.
Yeah, and I really feel like our family is complete. The only thing I want is more dogs. Hint, hint.
I want dogs, but it's a lot of work. We'll talk more about dogs. So same to you. So I'll repeat basically.
Yes.
Where are you from? A little bit about your background, and then you also have kids. You have 3 kids.
Correct.
So,
yes.
Tell us your journey to motherhood as well.
So I am from Hamilton, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And so is my husband, actually. We also met in high school. We met, we weren't dating, but I have journal diary entries about the crush, the massive crush I had on him, but just the timing wasn't right.
Yeah.
I went off to school. I went to Emerson for marketing, advertising, and PR. And then once I was working in that, I started having all sorts of back pain issues, and I struggled with digestive issues, and actually had a seizure disorder. So at the time when I was in college, my mother was working for a chiropractor, and I started hanging out at his office. And when I was kind of struggling with all these things, he said, hey, come get adjusted. I started to get adjusted. I noticed that my digestive system started working better. The seizures I was having were getting less and less. And my back that wasn't hurting me so much anymore. So I shifted, and I was like, I'm going to move to Texas and go to chiropractic school. So went through chiropractic school, came back, started working at his office again. And my husband, Tim, who was not my husband at the time, his mother was a patient there and said, hey, you should get back in touch with Tim. I'm sure he'd love to see you.
Yeah.
So my now husband and I reconnected, and it was just the right timing. He wanted kids. I wanted kids. I always thought that I'd have 3. And then when I had 2 and it was a struggle, I had a lot of postpartum anxiety after my second. A good friend of the family passed away during, she was diagnosed with cancer in her pregnancy.
Yeah.
And then she had twins, and the twins died. It was this whole thing, and it basically, that's another conversation.
Oh my gosh,
but
yes.
set me off into like, oh my God, am I gonna die? Am I gonna leave my kids?
course.
Like, and I just struggled with postpartum anxiety so badly after my second, and was like, nope, I'm not gonna have the third. We're just gonna keep with the 2.
Wow,
And then
understandable.
eventually, I got past that with a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, maybe we want to have a third. I started to have some of my friends start having third kids, and I was like,
Yeah.
yep, that's still in there. I still want that. I'm still having that yearning for the
Wow.
third child.
And that just goes to show how brave women are.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of bravery to overcome that level of anxiety. And I guess I would say
So
fear.
bad. Yeah, and it still
Terrifying.
creeps its ugly head every once in a while. Like I
Yeah.
still get
Yeah.
triggered by things. So
You know what? I feel like you're a perfect example of why we shouldn't be asking women, like, why the age gap between.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
understand
my
the
gosh, that's
obsession
a
with the
great
age
point.
gaps, to
That's
be
a
honest.
great point. Yeah.
And my older brother's 12 years older, and my younger brother's 6 years younger.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm just like, I don't really get why people care about that.
A lot of crap happened in between each kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually
Right.
there's crap that happens, whether it's like positive, negative. Like people have lives that you don't know about.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
get all up in their grill,
And shouldn't be
as they
asking
say.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Wow.
That being said, I do like the age gap between the kids, because I will
Yeah.
say that, like, I had my daughter, I was turning 40 that
Yeah.
year. So I had learned a lot of lessons
Yeah.
having my 2 boys, and they were actually old enough to kind of help out for a
Yes.
bit too.
That's what I love about it.
I got to go through, I always say, like, I felt like I got to have that one-on-one time with my baby again.
Yes.
Because just saying, like, I had my first, and 2 years later had my second.
Yeah.
So I had toddler in tow,
Yeah.
couldn't really sit down and like nourish that time again like I did with my firstborn.
That's very stressful.
Right. So
Yeah.
those 2 kids together was challenging. But then when I had the age gap in between my middle child and my third, it was like, okay, I'm not a new mom anymore, so I don't have that new mom anxiety stress.
Right.
And I have space to just coddle and cuddle my newborn all over again.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a toddler in tow anymore. So
Yeah,
it was actually
sounds
It was
idyllic.
actually quite
I was
nice.
gonna say that actually sounds really
You
nice.
know what's
right?
funny?
Yeah.
I wanted to intentionally do that. Maybe because I grew up with that, and my mom was like, "Do it. It's so much easier. It's so nice."
Yeah.
I wanted like at least 4 years in between them, and then I ended up having twins, and I was like, "Gosh, dang it!"
You had like a couple seconds or a couple of minutes.
I didn't get time with them one-on-one at all.
No, that must have been challenging.
Yeah, we're all given whatever cards. We're dealt
Yeah,
whatever
you're the
cards.
cards,
You don't
right.
get to choose
Right.
a lot of the time.
Nope.
You can try to choose, and sometimes it works out.
Yes.
But I love that for you. I love that
Thank
you
you.
kind of like found the beauty in the age gaps. And again, I
Yeah.
never understood the obsession with age gaps. Don't really get it.
Yeah.
You can be close with your siblings, whatever ages. Like,
totally.
Who cares? But anyway, I digress. But
Yes.
thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that
Yeah.
that incredible story. And that kind of leads me into my next question. Is as you know,
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy, childbirth, raising children, postpartum, whatever, shakes us to our core. I will say, to say the least. Most of us, anyway, I would say. And so for you, did you feel a shift in your anxiety? I'm not anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about anxiety right
sure,
now.
yeah.
Did you
Always.
did you feel a shift in your identity at all, or were you like,
Okay, so that's a really
Yeah.
good question. And I think for me, as a chiropractor, there was a couple of things happening here. I actually found that having kids helped propelled my practice.
awesome?
Okay, so for me, I think now, like, okay, if I didn't do what I do and I'm not passionate about being a chiropractor, a pediatric chiropractor,
Yeah.
like, what would I do in my free time? Well, I don't even know anymore, because now I've just dedicated so much time to like studying and mastering the art of what I do. But each child I had helped me to become a better version, a better practitioner, I suppose I could say,
Yeah.
because it's widened my view on challenges, because each of my 3 children, like, we had our own challenges with each of them. some more than others. So I learned a lot, and it pushed me to study more. And by studying more, I mastered certain techniques, and now, I'm a certified craniopath because my middle child was dealing with so much reflux, and it was chiropractic and cranial adjusting that really helped him overcome that. So that inspired me more into what the identity that I am today. And like I had mentioned before when we were talking earlier, all 3 of my babies were breech. And so I had, a lot of chiropractic is like, we do Webster pregnancy technique, and it can help to make sure babies are in optimal position. But like, what the heck is wrong with me? I'm a chiropractor, and why are all 3 of my babies breech? And so having to overcome that mentality of like, I'm not broken, I just stand crooked all day, and now my pelvis is torqued. And so my babies are in a torqued position, and here I am. So my point is just like all those journeys of motherhood helped me to, I think, become a more informed chiropractor to help my patients better, because I have so much experience in so many things now.
Awesome. And you answered my second question about how, it shaped your path. So that is very helpful.
Right.
And, feel free at any time when it comes up to share a little bit and educate us, because I would love to hear more.
Happily.
I'm so happy for you. It's not always a net positive. Usually it's more, it's balanced, but I feel like for you, like, in a way, you're so lucky that it led you to your passion. Like, how cool is that?
It's wicked cool. I mean,
that's
I
awesome.
kind of joke with people that I think that, like, as I move into perimenopause and then eventually menopause, I wonder if my patient base will like shift to more like working with women through that. But right now, I'm in the thick of it with these women, so I feel called to it. It feels good and it feels right. You're
letting life lead you. I love that. It's like wherever you are in your life, it's like adjusting. To that's cool. I love it. So you're always growing and you're always learning.
That's correct.
Because you're taking whatever's dealt to you and you're using it.
What else are you gonna do?
Well, not everyone knows to do, like, not everyone has that initial instinct to do that. So I think that's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, of course. Now, circling back, I'm not used to having 2 guests, so it's interesting to be like, oh, okay, I have to remember to,
it's all good.
Ask everyone
I love
the same
hearing
questions.
Courtney talk and share her stories because I just think it's one of the reasons I'm so drawn to her as a professional colleague and a friend.
Absolutely. And it's and you don't have to feel like you can answer this question differently, however you like. I know it feels like I'm asking the same question.
No, it's really interesting.
Really interesting to hear.
It's a great question because,
identity shift is the question.
Yeah, the identity shift, because I actually do have like a second act. Like, do you know what I mean? And like motherhood is what put me into my second act, and so it's, so my background is theater and special education. So I was a performer in New York for about 8 years. I went to school for my undergrad in theater. My master's is in theater and theater education. So like everyone's always like, well, how did you get from that to this? And what made the change was when I had babies.
Oh, it's very similar in that way.
Was when I had babies, and also because I was a teaching artist in New York City, so I worked for different theater companies and pushed into New York City public schools to help them learn how to use art to teach academics, use art to make art, like to help them go to Broadway shows and have them do talkbacks with Broadway performers. And it was just a very cool way to be a part of that scene. But when I got pregnant with Evelyn and after she came, we were still in New York City, and like the cost of childcare was just kind of ridiculous. And so going back to work didn't make much sense because everything I made would just go to childcare. And I was like, well, here we go. And I was nursing. And so I was like, I might as well just stay home. And then I had the opportunity and the fortunate opportunity to be able to stay home. Right. And, but like, that was such a gift. But in the moment, I struggled a ton. I struggled a ton because I went to an all-women's college at Mount Holyoke College, and it's all about women's empowerment and making a name for yourself. A woman can have it all. You can have the career, the family. You can do everything at once. And here I was after an unplanned cesarean that ended with that my postpartum journey had a significant amount of infections in it, and it was really hard. My husband had to go back to work a week after I delivered, and because that's just the way that paternity leave is not
what the heck. I'm so glad my
now.
husband got the 6 weeks.
It is not what it is now at all. Like we had 1 week,
and that is inhumane.
And I was in the hospital for half of that week because I had a cesarean. So, I'm sitting there saying, like, why aren't you coming back home? And he's like, I'm trying to pay for health insurance. Like, what am I supposed to do? But because of the cesarean and because of my post-op infections, I couldn't even lift the baby. I couldn't do anything, and I had to go to the doctor all the time. So it was a lot to juggle. It was a lot to juggle. And
so unfair.
It is unfair. And it was unfair to me. It was unfair to him too.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I want to be with you, but I also need to do this to provide for you. So it was definitely a double-edged sword
I'm
there.
like upset listening to what the hell?
It's yes.
There's so many stories like this.
Yeah, and so it was, but that's why, but this is where we need to be grateful that things are changing. Things are changing. Paternity leave, family bonding leave, that was never around. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So like there is progress happening.
Yeah.
There is progress happening.
I just want to say I love that you're coming from that perspective, because I feel like I'm still in the
Anger.
and I'm like just starting to like dip my foot into like the things are happening.
I get it,
like,
but I mean, I've also had
good.
10 years on you on this. Do you know what I mean?
And sorry to interrupt.
You don't need
yes.
to ever be sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's so, when all of this kind of happened postpartum, my world kind of exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Like my world kind of, breastfeeding was a very hard journey for me. My husband had to go to work. I was in New York without my family around. Like, they would absolutely come and help, but they weren't local. So that's a big difference, right? And also, it's so interesting because you said something, Courtney, like, I had to have 2 cesareans. My background is performance and dance. Mm-hmm. I used my body to communicate. My body was my performance tool. My body is how I communicated and how I went through the world. And I was like, but my body can't do what I'm put on this earth to do. And I can't have a vaginal birth.
You've given yourself a hard time.
Oh, so that's where my postpartum depression came from, is because of the fact I never had a problem bonding with my baby. I loved Evelyn. I loved all of the parts of motherhood.
Sure.
I was mad at my body.
Oh.
And it's like, but you sit there and you're like, I'm a chiropractor, yet here I am with 3 breech babies.
Right.
You know what I mean? And here I am as a dancer and someone who's completely used their body their whole time as their vehicle for expression, and I can't even do what I'm put on this earth to do.
Right.
And that's where all of my depression came from.
Oh my gosh.
So it rocked my world in a lot of ways. That it took me away from my professional career. It took me away from my connection to art. It took me away from my connection to my husband, because I ended up getting mad at my husband because he had to leave because there was resentment, and he was angry too. Like, it rocked my world in so many different ways. And what actually helped me is I already had a therapist because I knew where to go. So I had a therapist on board. But my parents, because they weren't able to be there, again, like, they gifted me a postpartum doula to help me. And I was like,
I had one that's great.
I was like, who are you? And why aren't we like best friends forever? And why aren't you living with me? And so they helped me with support. I had a birth doula. I already knew what a birth doula was, but the postpartum doula was something I didn't know about. And that postpartum doula helped me a little bit.
Nobody knew about
you know what I mean?
that.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
And so it took me a couple years to be okay with staying home and being a mother and taking pride in being a mother, when I was kind of raised and also in the kind of the women's college world of like, no, you can have it all and do it all. And I was like, wait a minute, I can do it all and have it all, but you need support to do that.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about the support a woman or a mother or a parent needs in order to continue being themselves.
The village that
Like,
doesn't
do you know what I
exist
mean?
for
Because
everyone.
like there's no way my husband could have gone back to work unless he had me as a support system. Do you know what I mean? And so like, why don't I also? I mean, Adam was of course a support for me, but so that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, like, where are the outside supports of my family unit that are also helping support me in wanting to have it all?
You need like a lot of people for support.
But no one taught me that. Everyone's like, oh, you should be able to do it all by yourself, completely on your own, and have it all.
I feel like you had so much, you like expected your body to perform a certain
100%.
way. You expected to be able to do it all yourself.
Yep.
And like, that is so
And still keep going forward in my career. And like,
unfair to yourself. Like,
but that was the expectation that maybe that was I created it, or that's at least the expectation that I felt that's what I interpreted what was presented to me.
I feel like it has to be at least like somewhat societal.
100%.
It was in there.
Yeah, and I think society has a huge impact on all of us as women and mothers, like 100%.
I feel like that's shifted a little bit because there's a lot of positivity now around formula feeding, C-sections, like
absolutely, and but even just about like how getting support is not something to be ashamed about.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's
like
not it should be an empowering moment.
Yeah.
So when I finally started coming around to all of this, and like around when Evelyn was 8 months, we moved back to Boston because we wanted to be closer to family. Because I knew if we were going to have a second, I knew that I mentally needed some more support as well. And we're originally from here, so Adam was able to transfer his job, and so we again are already setting ourselves up for support. When we got pregnant with Rosalie, I had my loss early on, so we didn't kind of set a birth preferences or anything yet for my second pregnancy. But for my third pregnancy, I was like, we're having a birth doula, we're having a postpartum doula. Like we were stacking up for success. I'm already having my therapist. I'm already having medication ready and standing by, like, because that's what I knew I needed in order to be okay. So the journey into motherhood completely shifted my focus into being like, wait a minute, like why don't all people realize that support is helpful and it should be something that we lean into, which is how I got into the birth world. And that's how I became a birth doula.
Oh, I wish I knew you then.
I wish I knew me then. Do you know what I mean?
So much shame around having people help me.
But because we're not meant to do it alone, and that like goes right into what Beyond Birthing is. It's the village you are meant to have. We are not supposed to do this alone. You are not supposed to know how to do it right now. Everyone who comes into Beyond Birthing, like for the classes, or even for when I work with them as a doula, like they're like, I just don't know what to do, and I go, that's exactly what that's okay. Because breastfeeding, child rearing, parenting is all actually supposed to be a human to human, passed down through generations type of situation. It's not supposed to be a classroom situation. It's not supposed to be a hospital situation. It's not supposed to be learned in books. It's supposed to be learned by observation and lived experience. And that's what we were missing, because all of us live in silos. Yeah. All of us live in silos. So when I shift, so again, people are always like, how did you come from theater and special ed into birth? And I literally say, well, to be an actor, you need to know your lines.
That makes sense to me.
You need to know your cues. You need to know how to improv. Right? You need to know how to work as an ensemble. Yep. And you need to know how to read a room.
Oh, for
that's
sure.
That's what an actor does. And to be a special education teacher, you need to know your kid's IEP, which is their individualized education plan. You need to know what their strengths are, what their challenges are, how to help, who we need to bring onto the team to help them overcome the challenges, and then how to stay in your scope. That is literally what a birth doula does.
Yeah, no, you had like the perfect background. I don't think people realize how many transferable skills you get from acting.
Well,
Dude,
I'm
that's
going to add in here.
Yeah.
I sit in and I listen to her teach, and her acting
Comes
serves
out.
her classes really well, because everyone, any of my patients that like come out of her class and be like, that was so funny, or like I'll be adjusting babies in the other room, and we have a time that we share, like where she has a mother parent new baby support group, and I'm seeing patients, and the laughter that comes out of the room, because Erin's just making everyone laugh. There's like, we always hear a whoo, like you can
I'm loud. I'm not quiet. I'm not quiet.
So I mean, I'll just say all of those points you just said are spot on, and I actually never thought about that way, Erin. That's like perfectly stated, but her energy makes the classes so damn fun. So
Thank
for any of
you.
you moms listening, need a class, come see Erin.
I haven't done any classes because I already did all of that. I missed the boat on it, but I really want to like see you in action.
Absolutely, come anytime.
I feel like left out.
Come anytime. And also, like, I think the
It's a
thing
good
is, like, it's also, people are always like, oh, do you miss acting? Do you miss
I
performing?
was going to ask you that next.
And I sometimes do, but both of my kids are into performing right now, so like I get to see them and support them, and like one day it is going to be my dream to be on stage with both of my girls. Like it's gonna happen, because I manifest things, and that's just what I want to do.
Like
I really want to do that.
Children's entertainment. We'll talk later.
Yeah, we got so many more things to talk about.
Yeah.
But like the education classes and facility, that really does kind of scratch my itch for performance and acting, which is great. I still sing with my girls, and then dancing's the main thing that I really miss the most, and I'm slowly getting back to that, because that's a whole just I don't move the way I used to.
Can't you like work dance into your?
I can't move the way I used to, because now I throw my back out when I sneeze. So,
I throw
but
my
that's why
back
I have
out all the
Courtney
time.
in my life, and
That's okay.
that's why I have strength training, and that's why I wear my weighted vest because it's the fad, but also it's good for perimenopause, and so like I will get that back into it. But like I'm very active and I'm very physical in my classes too. So like it's a great thing. But so motherhood really shifted my focus on like how can I use the skills and the money I put into what I got my degrees
money,
in,
the effort, the
right,
time.
and into what I can do now. And it just so motherhood put me into my second act, and I truly like in my soul of souls believe this is what I meant to be doing. And I know it's what I meant to be doing because even though I'm tired, even though there's a lot going on in my life, which is happening for everybody, whenever I show up to class or whenever I show up to a birth or whenever I show up to just be present with someone, the time just goes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then afterwards I'm like, but I'm like, but like that was
worth it.
And it comes very naturally to me. Being in theater, also, we're very comfortable with big emotions.
Big emotions and also human connection.
Yeah, we're not afraid to be kind of in darker places and happier places and more kind of spectrum, like because that's just kind of theater people tend to be a tad
100%.
dramatic. 100%. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, like I've gotten
a little emotional.
She's a little intense. I've heard. Yes,
a little emotional. We tend to.
I learned that by beginning to work with you about the intensity of Erin, but I think that's what drew me.
But you love it, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And the intensity is just like the passion. Like we're ready to just dive in and then see what happens.
For me, I hate small talk, like with a passion. I don't care. I don't want to talk about the weather. I'm like, who are you?
Oh God.
Like, what do you care about?
That's why I don't go to like any
parties.
other events or like things, because I'm like, if someone's like, oh my God, how are you? I haven't talked to you in forever, and I go, good, talk to you soon, like, and I walk away because it's not because I don't care about you. I wish you nothing but the best. But I'm like, if you really did care, you would have called me. We would have talked already. Like, it's at an event where there's 50 people. That's not the time for us to be connecting. I'm really into one-on-one. I love group and everything like that. And like again, I'm here to meet everyone where they are, but it's those human connections that are willing to be able to look at each other and just say, I see you and I love you. And a lot of times people say like, oh, I love them in spite of this. I never say that.
I try not to say that.
Well, I say I love you in addition to.
In addition to. That's such a good reframing.
Because like that's like I don't want you to change anything about you.
No.
Like there's things about some people that I'm like, God, that's a lot. But I'm like, but you know what? But it's never going to stop me from showing up.
Yeah, and imperfections are beautiful. Nobody wants to hang out with a perfect person.
Nope.
That's insufferable.
Nope. They're boring.
I just love I relate so much to your story, so it's so cool to hear that.
Oh, thanks.
Mirrored back. It's like, for me, I'm like, oh, like, I don't need eyes on me all of a sudden anymore.
Yeah,
I don't crave
either.
it.
Yeah.
And I want to like emote, but it has to be extremely meaningful for me to put in the effort.
Yeah. And
otherwise, I don't care.
And what I teach, I believe in with every ounce of my being.
I love it. You're awesome.
Thanks, man.
This is only my second time. Well, this is my first time meeting both of you in person.
But we've talked a couple times.
We have talked, but like already I'm like, I'm picking up what you're putting down, as they say.
I love it. I love it.
You guys have already answered most of my questions without me having to ask them, which again, ideal guest. We're like, I have done zero work, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. So let's see, what do I still want to ask? I only have like one or two more. I guess like advice to mom and caregivers, and also how can we help each other in Beverly and just in general? Like, what's next for us? What are we doing here? Like, what are we building? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Before I answer that, I'm wondering if I could circle back to a little bit about how how Beyond Birthing came. So Beverly is the place. So Courtney's been in Beverly for a long time. In terms
11, 12
yeah,
years.
So her business. So Courtney started her brick and mortar way before I did. And so Courtney already kind of had a center here in Beverly, and not like, or just like a foundation. Wow.
Yeah.
Foundation.
I'm using all of your
That's
words
okay.
here. A foundation here in Beverly, right? So where I was, and so when I approached Courtney about Beyond Birthing, I was kind of being like, wherever she goes, I'll go, because and also Beverly is a city that connects a lot of towns, right? This is also where our hospital is. This is also where our birth center used to be. And so I knew that, and also I really liked the access to public transportation and all of that stuff. That's why, and then when the location for Beyond Birthing and Foundations came up, it was a no-brainer. Like, I mean, I always tell the joke, like, I may or may not have signed on the dotted line before speaking to my husband. It was, but because it was just such a good deal. And then, of course, my husband and I dealt with that, and we're fine. We're still together. Everything's fine.
But like, it's like I feel like Erin's kind of become my husband, and I've become hers in a way. It's like we're
You're
like
both
this other kind of partners.
though? Neither of you are wives.
Maybe, I don't know. I think the point is that we're like each other's like business partners now.
Yeah, we are.
yeah.
And there's so much trust.
That's
And
awesome.
Beverly just seems to be like this place where there's support for what we're both trying to achieve. And also there's access to it. And I think that's a big thing. And like, so when the birth center was taken away, it left a huge gap in this community for the mothers and the families that Courtney and I particularly work with. And I was like, we need to bring something back to help bring community back so that we can get there. And eventually we'll get back to getting a birth center on the North Shore. I have no doubt we'll be there someday.
It'll
but
happen.
right now that's not where we are. So what can we do to fill this gap? And so, you know, with Beyond Birthing and with what Courtney does, like, we're trying to create an epicenter of resources for new parents to come to be taken care of. So that we have a little bit of different missions in terms of our individual practices, but Beyond Birthing collectively are very much about, we are prioritizing parents.
Okay.
We are prioritizing parents. Everyone cares about the baby, which is, again, extremely important to do. But like, when I was going through my postpartum stuff, everyone's like, Evelyn's fine. Like, what's the problem? And I'm like, but I'm not okay.
Yeah. Doesn't that matter
but
too?
I'm not okay. And everyone's like, oh, poo-poo, right? Which is why everything got so snowballed.
Yes.
So, you know, and so when finding like-minded practitioners and clinicians like Courtney and I have at Beyond Birthing and at Foundations, like, it's helping open the door to resources and access to families so that they don't need to do the legwork. We're going to do the vetting.
Could we just also say, just because I know we got to wrap up, but like, just for the listeners, I want people to know that when we're referring to Beyond Birthing and Foundations Family Chiropractic, they are two businesses conjoined together.
Thank you
for saying
in
that.
one building. Doors open. Patients are walking back and forth between their appointments, between the meet groups and everything. So just people understand, we're not two separate businesses.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
bringing
Yeah,
that
we
back.
share everything together. So, yeah.
Okay, here's what I propose, and you do not have to commit, but I would love to
commit.
speak with you about
I'll commit.
Foundation Family Chiropractor, like separately, and maybe bring someone else on to get more in depth about that. And I'd love to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about, maybe what's next for Beyond Birthing or what else you have on the horizon personally.
That. And I'd love to also share how it came about, because I think that's a huge reason.
Because I was a little bit worried that we wouldn't. I was like, we have so much to talk about. I don't know if we can squeeze it into a half hour.
We'll get it.
And we couldn't. No. But I think that just calls for future episodes.
Sure.
If you are okay with that.
More conversations are always what we're about.
Because I do not want to stifle you or keep you from saying what you want to say. If you're open to coming back.
Yes, ma'am.
And gracing me with your presence.
Oh,
indeed.
Awesome.
Likewise.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a delight to have both
Amanda.
of you on. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been I Brought You Into This World.
Thank you, Amanda.
And we air every other Saturday at 7:30 on all your podcast platforms and YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Please, follow along, like, subscribe, as the kids say, and drop something in the comments. Reach out. You can reach out, via DM if you don't want to post it. And with any questions, any needs that you have, we collectively will try to help you as best we can. And
Absolutely.
Instagram page and a Facebook page, so you can also reach out that way. I think that's it. And we have another podcaster coming, so we're busy over here. Thank you, BevCam. You guys.
Thank you, BevCam. We
are
love
killing
you.
it. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.